Hello guys, in this episode of web development we are gonna take a look at forms. Forms can be used to collect user information such as sign up forms, login forms, and a lot of these. In the last episode we learned how to add lists and tables. In this episode we are gonna take a look at forms. The tag for form is this, starts with form and ends with form as normal. Then we have input types in forms. Input is because the user inputs his username, the password, and clicks the submit button. Also, input type, there are few different defined types such as text, which has the name, username. Names are just like ID, but ID for forms. Name could be username also, and you could have a placeholder too, but we don't need it now. Let me just close it, and I'm gonna type a name here, user name also. And the next type we are gonna take a look at is password. The input for that is just a space and just a space. Then I take input type equals password. I'll show you the output in just a second, and you can easily understand it. You can give whatever name you want it. The name doesn't affect much. We don't need to close inputs, just like images. You can see username comes here and password comes here. You can see that password is right there because we don't have a break tag. This is where the break tag will be useful. Line break tag be here if you have watched the older episodes also. You could have known that. Now you see it's neatly arranged, username and password. This is how you do it. Now type something. Let me type some name, just say John also, and I need a password. And you can see it comes in this bulletins, which protects the password from being seen by others, right? It is great. There are few types already defined. Now we are gonna create a basic form, namely sign up form. Also, let's just, as I said before, we don't need to give a p or heading or so for a text. If you give it, it will be more useful to you. You can see sign up. Okay, I forgot to give the break tag here, and it will pretty much work now. Now what I'm going to do is take a look at other types, and I'm going to add a beer tag over here too. And the next one I'm going to take a look at gender. We are going to have two inputs. Input type is going to be radio. Input type is going to be radio, and it's each of these tags could also have values. I'll get to that later in advance of forms. Now in radio, name is very important in this radio. Let's suppose it's gender. Yes, and I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna type male. In this I'm not gonna have any breaking tags here. I'll show you in just a second. Why does it end up here always? Let's space it up till here. And next input type, the same thing, equals radio. Name should be equal the same name you gave to the other thing. Let's suppose gender here in this case. Close it, and I have female over here. Yes, and I'll break it here. I'll show you why the name should be gender, because we'll use the name only to be accessed by the PHP, and now you can see it's pretty clear. Let's suppose John and he has some password also, and he's a male or female. You get it? You could choose either male or female. it, it, it's pretty much male here. We'll break twice here, two lines of break. And if I change the name of the radios are not of the same type now. When you preview it, you can select male and female as well. See, you can select male and female as well, which is very bad. Let's suppose you have another input same as that one, put type equals radio. There are also other input types, we'll get to that later. Name equals gender as what we give to that one. Let's suppose other. You can have breaking tag here, and I don't think we don't need this here. Just give it to the last radio, or that's according to you. Now what happens if you can click both male and female or other, just changes here. If you click this, that goes off, and if you click that, that goes off, but male will be always there. That's all. You have to be careful on giving the name. You have to give the correct name, or else it could go wrong. So I'm gonna break it here. The next thing you're gonna take a look at is input type as checkbox. It's the same as radio. We have to give the correct name just to access it correctly from the PHP, the background script. Let's say hobbies, and we'll have some inputs here. Input type equals checkbox in this case, and its name, let's give it a name hobbies also. Yes, we don't need values here. We'll close hobbies and I'll type playing. Yes, and the next input I'm gonna have is input type equals checkbox, name equals hobbies. We have to give the same hobbies. It doesn't affect because it's checkbox. You can check multiple options, but still it will be good to use the name as hobbies, or whatever name you have given. Learning, and let's just have another input type equals, let's see, checkbox, and we'll give it a name equals hobbies. Okay, I made hobbies, close one, and I'm gonna give sleeping which is very creepy also. We'll just finish it here with the BR tag. I'll save it and I'll show you the output now. You can see it's a very good output. Username Akshay, let's see, John, anything, it may be hey, some password, and I'm gonna be a male. I love playing, I love learning, I love sleeping. So I could take three of them together. That's what a checkbox is for. And you can see we made a very basic form here. Instead of normal text, I'm gonna have it h1 and close it here and close it here. Let me see there. You can have text inside forms. You can have images also inside form. You can see it's pretty much good here. Let's have one line break, and that will be perfect. Let's put it on h2, I guess, right? h2. I'll save it and I'll just preview it. Okay, that's perfect. And it's h, so we don't need any line breaks at all, because the heading tag all does line break itself automatically. We have a basic form, but the user cannot submit the form So we need to have another input, which is nothing but the submit input. Input type equals submit. We don't need a name for that, but let's just give it a name, submit. And this one can have a value because it's a button. Let's say value nothing for now. We don't need value for now. I'll show you in just a second. And that's pretty much the form complete. I'll show you the output now, guys. And see, we have submit button, which submits every of these values, but it submits to nowhere. We'll get to that later in the advanced tutorial of forms. Submit doesn't do nothing. Now I'll tell you an option called value. Let's suppose the website wants to sign up or log in and stuff like that, but it's just submit there. So let's give a value, sign up, save it, and when I run it, this is what I'll get. It just changed as sign up, right? You can give it a login also. You do a lot of things here. You guys change this text as login. You can just make another section over here for login or so, right? It's very good. Now this is a basic understanding of forms. Here also some attributes are there, such as action is what that is happening after you click submit. Like, you may have wondered what will happen after you click submit. We have to send it to a PHP file to process it and save it in a database also, and then take it to login also. It's very complicated stuff. And it's, you have another attribute, namely method, which is also related to PHP stuff like get also. We'll get to that later, not in this episode. And I don't think we are gonna do a lot of stuff here. And I forgot to change it as gender. I should have taken a look at that. Yep. And now it should be perfect. Let's just see. Period. Okay, male or female, playing, learning, and sleeping. This is a basic understanding of forms. You can use CSS to make your forms look very good. In the future episodes, you have to do a lot of forms. Forms are very important in website. So I hope you learned something in this episode of web development. If you learn something, leave a like, subscribe to my channel for more videos, leave a comment if you want any help. Thanks for watching.